Hey, y'all. From the home of Tim Walz comes the Common Good podcast. Straight out of Minnesota. Soda. Hey, Doug Pagitt here. Minnesota born and raised. Not a Nebraska transplant right here. Nope. Pure Minnesota through and through. Welcomes an Ohioan via Pennsylvania that somehow ended up in Arkansas as the favorite adopted son, Robb Ryerse.
Yep.
Have that all right?
How are you, Doug? Yeah, something like that. Little pit stops in New York and Massachusetts and Michigan. Now I've lived
where
here in
were you
Arkansas
born?
longer. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio.
Or better yet, for the certain MAGA people, where were you conceived?
I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think I want to know the answer.
Where did your life begin, Rob? I mean, if you're thinking to begin there, you should probably mark that on people's birth certificates. Hey, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Tapped by Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Who I'm becoming an increasingly just glowing fan of. I'm back to my fandom of 2020. I just think so highly of her right now. Yeah. I'm through the moon.
Yes, but I have been itching all day to have this conversation because I was really excited about the Tim Walz choice. Came out of nowhere. It wasn't on the short list. And then all of a sudden it started rumbling and started hearing it, and he was on the short list, and people started to get to know him. People that maybe didn't know him before. I frankly didn't know him. And I've been waiting all day to hear your reaction, because I know, Doug, the text you sent me said stunned and disappointed.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What's happening here?
And I read that to Vanessa, and she said, "Why is he stunned and disappointed?" And I said, "We're going to save it for the podcast." Didn't even ask the follow-up question. Save it for the podcast. Doug, why are you stunned and disappointed when so many folks, I mean, if Twitter is any indication,
which it's not.
Well, why, like, so many folks excited about the choice of the vice president to choose your governor to be her running mate, the next vice president of the United States.
What is the phrase about familiarity breeds contempt? How does that phrase go?
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Yeah, it's just a way of punctuating it. Okay, look, here's part of it. Nothing in politics matters more to me right now than Donald Trump losing the election on November 5th at 8 p.m. when the counting starts. 8 p.m. on the Eastern Coast when the votes counting starts. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my answer. That's it.
And you don't think Tim Walz is going to be helpful in that endeavor?
The thing that I would have loved was there to be a pick that could have allowed some of us to say, okay, Gretchen Whitmer gives us Michigan. Mm-hmm. Shapiro gives us Pennsylvania. Elmer gives us Wisconsin. Kelly gives us Arizona. Something like that.
Cooper gives us North Carolina.
Now,
Brian Kemp gives us Georgia.
Brian Kemp gives us Georgia. Is there
never to be considered? Start some rumors now.
Is there any? That's right. Brian Kemp was on the short list. Is there proof positive that picking a vice presidential candidate in modern times from a state wins you the state?
Zero.
Well, not if you ask Al Gore. Not if you ask Tim Ryan. I can't remember who was the guy that Hillary.
Ryan? Tim Kaine?
It wasn't Tim Ryan. No, Paul Ryan. Sorry, Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan. Let me
Tim
start
Ryan,
again.
Paul Ryan.
Not if you ask Al Gore. Not if you ask whoever Kerry's running mate was. Not if you ask Paul Ryan, who lost Wisconsin when Romney had him as his presidential pick.
Yep.
Okay, so is it true that picking Shapiro or picking Whitmer or picking Kelly gives you the state? Not necessarily. But better chance one of those people gets you those states than Minnesota's adopted son, Tim Walz. That's where the shock came from. Now, why did it happen? Because Kamala Harris is trying to bring the Democratic Party together. If you want my hot take, where's my hot take button? Where's my hot take button? Nope.
It's not it.
Hot take. Want a hot take?
We got some crickets in there too. That first time.
Yeah, I haven't marked the buttons. You see this thing? I got 2 rows of 4 in each, and I'm just guessing every time. It's like when I type. My fingers are just guessing at what letters I'm hitting.
No idea.
I think this all came down to the progressives in the party would not abide and be unified around Shapiro, Kelly. They're out, not because the country needed it, not because the state needed it. The pushback that started hard. I heard rumors that Federer came out after Shapiro.
Fetterman. Yeah.
Fetterman. Thank you. Fetterman came out after him, both in public and in private, back channeling.
Yeah. Fetterman's criticism of Shapiro was that he would one up the vice president, and that his personal ambition to be president one day would overwhelm the vice president.
And as the attorney general, he didn't like what he did on parole board. Like, he started up with a litany of things. So okay, fair enough. Lots of reasons to pick a candidate.
Yeah,
I wanted one not specifically to try to unify the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, of which I am part. To be clear, can't find a candidate fully as progressive as I am until I get my name back on the ballot. Pagitt for some year. Then there'll finally be a candidate that I'm fully happy with.
Can't wait to run that campaign.
You know, I got a little thing for us to do on the Vote Common Good tour, by the way, because I'm working up a bit about this. Like, my whole thing that you're never going to be happy and fully aligned with a candidate until you put your name on the ballot. Yep. We need to get something where, like, people make they make a little yard sign. Like, I just says Pagitt for something, and then insert year here. Right. And like, this is the yard sign for which I could be 100% in agreement if I vote today on my current thoughts today. But you give me 3 years and I might have,
right. I was going to say, as a person who ran for office, I wasn't sure I was always in alignment with myself.
Certainly not now. You could clearly say Robb Ryerse would not vote for Robb Ryerse in 2018. There is no way I need that guy.
Yes, I would.
I need that guy to have straightened up.
I absolutely would.
Okay. So I'm progressive. I'm in the progressive camp. I'm in the progressive wing. I like Governor Walz's candidacy as governor. I like his governorship. I actually think he could have pushed harder on a few things than he did. His love of the smell of gunpowder, I think, might cloud his progressive vision a little bit. But he's clearly in the camp. Unions, teachers, big public projects. I'm all for him. All for Tim Walz. Is he the right person to be the vice presidential candidate to Kamala Harris? Is he the right person to be the vice president for President Kamala Harris? She believes so I agree. Is he the best one to make sure she becomes the president? I feel like picking somebody that could at least give you a state would have been a better idea. So that's it. That's my just pure electoral politics.
I did have a friend this morning text me a picture of himself with Tim Walz.
Okay.
And it made me a little sad that I was unable to text people today a picture that exists of me and you and Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, because I cut a video. I've got a video that we're not going to play.
You're all ready to go. Yeah, all ready to go.
I don't want the progressives to hate me. I got to bury that video.
That's right.
Apparently, Josh Shapiro is now unwelcomed in the Democratic Party.
Yeah. I think.
Okay, Peggy's now sharing her disappointment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Tim Walz brings. I have made the case in text and maybe on this podcast, I don't know, that America's ready to take a deep breath, or maybe better said, America's ready to exhale from the breath we've been holding for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
We have had 8 years of misery. We've had 8 years of clenching. We've had 8 years of angry old men.
My jaw is tight right now as you say it. I can feel it.
I mean, Donald Trump did that to the country, and frankly, Joe Biden, as a very effective president, has done little to unclench the country.
Wow. Unclench the jaw. This is good. This is good material we're working here. We're workshopping this, friends.
Yeah. And what Kamala Harris has brought is a breath of fresh air. I thought Donald Trump attempting to label her at the beginning as Laughing Kamala was absolutely the wrong approach, because as I think I said in a text to you, America's ready to laugh again.
Yeah, she's delightful.
It is. Yes, we're ready to turn the page on. And you know, I've said, you know, it's been COVID, maybe all the way back to 9/11. Have we laughed since then? You know, I mean, Barack Obama, tremendous president, really great sense of humor when delivering a joke, but very, very earnest. You know, gave off that professorial feel. Kamala Harris brings a joy that is infectious, that I think the American people are going to absolutely love.
Yeah.
I think it's a chance for us to just. Tim Walz is like a dad joke personified. Like the videos of him, you know, riding a slingshot at the Minnesota State Fair. Have you ever ridden that, Doug? You know,
no, I'm afraid of rides at those things.
The videos of him talking with his daughter Hope, like he just brings a lightheartedness to this, that like we have a ticket here that is gonna bring like some normalcy back to the country. I think that his affect, and I know you're a little worried about the homespun accent, the Sarah Palinization of Tim Walz. And we can talk about that. I actually think that he's going to bring an energy that is going to complement hers in such wonderful ways. I'm excited about Tim Walz. Now, we can have this conversation. Here's my fear. My fear is that Tim Walz is the reintroduction of Tim Kaine.
Yep.
You know, and I remember watching the Democratic convention in 2016 and just being wowed by Hillary's speech, and then Tim Kaine came out after and joined her on stage. And I think I remember tweeting, maybe I posted on Facebook, or maybe I just turned to Vanessa and said this, or maybe I texted you and said this. I don't know. I communicated in some way that Tim Kaine waves weird. He was just like, his wave was just weird. It was bizarre. Yeah. And so my hope is like, hopefully Tim Walz isn't that kind of like quirky homespun. Hopefully he will be, you know, the living embodiment of a dad joke that just makes us all feel good.
Yeah. How long does he need to stay fresh? Now, can he do it for 90 days? Probably for a lot of people. But I'll tell you who didn't stay fresh for 90 days. JD, I didn't do that to a couch Vance. He did not stay fresh for 90 days. It fell apart in a hurry on that guy. Look, and again, familiarity might breed contempt. That might be where some of my hesitation about all the people like, oh, we love this like folksy dad guy, straight talking. Yeah, until you don't. It's like the bite of gum that you love and you're like, oh man, it's so refreshing to have something fresh in my mouth. And then it needs to, you know, be put in a proper wrapper and put politely into a container and not thrown on a sidewalk. that can be the experience in politics. And I just get worried that that kind of middle America, middle-aged, folksy thing might not bring the pep. Now, politically, if people know or care, and as you and I know, people don't care about political policy at this point.
No,
they're done with policy. They're now on sides. I wonder, because look, in 2008, nope, that's not true. In 2012, I had a short one-day stint as a on-site reporter for Religion News Service.
Oh.
Nope, that's not true either.
Why didn't
that's
that
not true
last?
either? See, this is what I'm saying. It's just a series of lies. This podcast is just a series of lies. In 2012, I had a short stint with the News Hour on PBS, the religion News Hour.
Yeah,
and was given credentials.
You got fired?
No, it was just a one-day stint.
Oh.
I was hired for one day, completed my one day, and retired from the Jim Lair News Hour, Religion News Hour, and went in with reporter credentials into the Republican National Convention when Sarah Palin was nominated. I was in the building. I was sitting right kitty corner from her. I could see the teleprompter she was looking at when it went out. Yeah. I watched her go ad lib. Mm-hmm. I also watched when they wrote the word, because this was a time, let's just go back in the dream machine. Let's go back in the dream machine to when people talked about nuclear weapons. And written across the big, huge teleprompter was the word nuclear, phonetically spelled out. Nuclear. Okay. So I was really close. I was watching her. I was watching everybody in the arena. The prompter goes out. She's on her own. She carries it. It was electric. Now, I could not have disagreed with Sarah Palin more on what she wanted to do, but she did the whole hacky moms and the pit bulls with the lipstick, and people were like, this is, you know how long that lasted? A Saturday Night Live skit. I can see Russia from my house. Now, is Tim Palin?
Which she never actually said, much like J.D. Vance never actually, messed with the couch. But.
Exactly. Now, was she critically accused of being profoundly uninformed as a government official? Yes. Was she completely unprepared to be the vice president of the United States? 100%. But was it the affect of this folksy kind of Scandinavian thing? Because as a Minnesotan, I'll tell you, every time I use my Minnesotan accent for people, they giggle a little. If you got a smirk on your face right now, they're friends, then you would get this thing. And I'm not even Scandinavian. Like, my grandparents didn't even teach me to talk that way. Like, this whole thing, I just worry to death.
Yeah, that people Fargo is amusing as a television show, but you don't want it in the government.
Cripes on, you got Arby's on your face. Yeah, no. Could you see him up in the wood chipper? Like, that I am not kidding. I am desperately worried about that. But just bored and like, oh my God.
That's awesome. What I am hearing from you, Doug, is that you hate Lutherans.
I have nothing against Lutherans. I hate their theology, but it's nothing against Lutherans in particular. They can't help it. It was done to them.
We've never had a Lutheran vice president before, so I was very excited. Tim Walz, Lutheran. It's full ecumenical ticket here with Kamala Harris as a Baptist and
it's right in our sweet spot for vote common good. Bringing the Lutherans and the Baptists together of all the good. So that's it. That's my worry. And I just want people to keep an eye out.
We're going to have big arguments about when baptism should take place.
And what kind of wafer or bread you should have. Yeah. So I asked my Christian nationalist friend this day, because I'm on a Fox News podcast about Christian nationalism today. And I was asking about, like, Okay, so like you just want the moral laws from religion. You don't want the communion laws to like. It's just unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
no, we just want you to use our Bible book for the for
Yeah.
the moral stuff, but leave out the religious stuff. Like, well,
Yeah.
then what do you need that thing for? Anyway,
Yeah.
and I'm a
Yeah.
Bible follower, by the way, friends. I quote a Bible verse to you right now. I mean, you
Um,
can't just name one anymore. You used to be
I
able to
mean,
name almost any
as a
you would know and I would know, but I'm a little rusty.
as opposed to Donald Trump unable to name his favorite Bible
Yep.
verse. Um,
But I'll tell
so
you, I'm the only one not happy about the Walz
you,
pick.
yeah, you really are. Tim Walz. It sounds
Thank you,
like
Peggy.
it sounds like Tim Walz might be the originator of the weird critique
Yeah.
of the Republicans.
Yeah. Well, he used it. He used it first in public spaces anyway. He was picking it up off the internet.
Brilliant.
Mhm.
I mean, I have said that I think this branding of Donald Trump and JD Vance is weird has just been absolutely brilliant politics.
Yep.
Takes it out of the policy, takes it out of the dictator fascism wants, we have to save democracy, all of which is important, but it puts it in a vernacular of like the way normal people talk.
Yes.
Doug, you and I are amongst probably a small percentage of Americans who wake up in the morning thinking, I've got to save democracy today. Most people are like not thinking that way, which frankly is the reason why we have the problems we have. I say not blaming voters at all, but what Tim Walz seems to bring is this ability to lay a critique out, to criticize the opponents without being off-putting in the process. And I think that is going to be really, really effective. Traditionally, the role of vice president has been to be the pit bull, the one who's going to really go after the presidential nominee. I think Josh Shapiro would have reveled in this, like, because he talked often. He had this great line, he still does, this great line about how Donald Trump needs to stop shit talking America, and going real strong as in the criticism role. I think Tim Walz is going to be able to do that, but I think he's going to do it in a way that is much more relatable and not policy wonky in any kind of way. And this comes, tradition of, I have been excited about vice presidential picks back when I was a conservative Republican. I was excited about Bob Dole picking Jack Kemp.
Jack Kemp. Remember the good old days?
Oh yeah.
Kemp with like the football in his arm.
Yeah, like this kind of thing. Like, I think that like what Tim Walz brings is he's gonna bring that criticism. I think he's gonna be tough without being mean.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
And I think it's
I hope you're right. You know what I actually think? I think Yabbits is onto it here. I think they give up the attack dog line completely. The American people already have a rage burning against Donald Trump. Yes. You don't need someone to take a likable character and make him unlikable, which is what the attack often does. As I like to say, Donald Trump is like a self-cleaning oven. The man does all the work for you. So
that's right.
Trump is uniquely disliked.
Yes.
I don't think Tim Walz needs to come out with an attack. I think they need to lean in. They need to be forceful and all that. I think the way they go is joy in America. I mean, the thing that's true about Tim Walz is this guy loves people. I don't know what he cares about individuals, but he loves them as a group. He will get into the mix. Like you said, he will ride on a ride. If he's standing on a stage and there's a group of people in front of him, he's not leaving until they leave. Like this guy is buddy. He's a coach. He's a chummer. He is just, I love you. Give me over and give me a big old squeeze. He's one of these guys, right?
Yep.
You come with that attitude rather than buttoning it up and being like, sir, I'm going to tell you. When he's like, look, JD, this is the American people. And he just like, people are like, talk about having a beer with that guy. I'd like him to cook me a brat. I think they should go Kamala with that dance, with that wink, with that whole thing.
It's a brat election.
A brat. Damn it. Did you just coin that?
I might have seen that on Twitter.
You can't do that to me. I was just like 304. We're copywriting that.
So good.
Brat. Yeah, I don't even understand the brat thing. I'm so far outside hip hop culture. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. But it seemed like people were very positive about it. So Brat Pack.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Doug, I texted you earlier today. You have not responded. I sent you Tim Walz's announcement video where he announced that he was going to be vice president of the United States.
They recorded today?
Yeah. Doug, in the video, Tim Walz says 2 times.
What does he say?
That he is going to work for the common good.
I heard that. Somebody messaged me that he's.
Yeah, I messaged you that.
He's picked up the cup. Well, I read a bunch of other text messages.
2 times he uses the phrase "common good" in his announcement video. It's great. It's good stuff.
Did you just text it to me, or is it in one of these chat groups we're in for the love?
Yeah, it's in the Vote Common Good chat.
Yeah, I mean this one from Brandon is a good one where Walz is being hugged by a bunch of children.
Yes, compared to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. This is Walz. It's a picture of Walz. I'm trying to see signing into law the free breakfast, free lunch for Minnesotan kids, compared to Sarah Huckabee Sanders signing into law the law that now requires or enables children to work. And just the faces of the children is just amazing. Right. I actually think that as you know, I do some work with a little group called Vortex Pack here in Arkansas.
Yes.
And we got an email going out today with these 2 pictures side by side because they're great. Tim Walz.
Can people see that? I hope they can see that. So there it is. That's Tim Walz being hugged by children. And there is Sarah Huckabee Sanders telling children they can get to work. So good. I love it.
I mean, the Tim Walz stuff, the picture of him hugging the pig, the picture of him pausing to pet a cat. Like, it's like, come on.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right already. People are going to like him for 90 days.
That's all we need.
I hope. I don't know. I just, this is just, well, there you go. Hey, people want to see what we do behind the scenes. You shouldn't have seen that. Can you see that right now? Or is that just my screen?
No, it's just you. We're good.
I thought it popped up the whole interface, which we should show people sometime, like how we do all this.
We should do a commercial for eCam.
Yeah.
Get some discount or something.
Yeah, we should. People often ask, how do you guys pull off all this fancy business that you do?
We should join the YouTube people who give eCam tutorials online, and which I'm sure you've watched hundreds of them as I have. And there you go.
So there we go. We could look something like that. You can see all the complexity behind the scenes. All right. Well, look, the fact that we're talking about Kamala Harris, the fact that we're talking about Tim Walz, the fact that we're doing it with smiles on our faces, the fact that we're having to argue about, are they going to love Tim Walz for the full 90 days or are they going to only love him for a day? The fact that we're talking about that they have a choice to either be firm and aggressive or happy and joyous.
Oh, it's great.
Those are good signs.
Yes.
Those are very good signs.
Let
me tell you what's not a good sign, Rob. That today is August 6th, not November 6th.
Sure.
And on August 6th of 2016, Hillary Clinton was up by 11 points in Michigan, 7 points in Wisconsin, and 9 points in Pennsylvania. And she lost all of the states. Kamala Harris is currently tied in all of those states. This is not...
Oh, it's not over.
Good news has an expiration date. And That's
Yes.
not a theological
Yes.
statement. That's just a political statement.
Could be. There's
It could be.
probably
I
there's
just
some
started thinking
Calvinists
about
out
that.
there
Like,
going,
hey,
"Amen, amen, brother."
hang on a minute. Maybe that is true.
Good news has an expiration date.
Yep. Well, yep. Irma's right, because people didn't get out and vote, and those who did picked Donald Trump in those 3 states, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And Yabbits doesn't trust polls. Well, I don't trust elections, so.
Kamala Harris has enjoyed the Kamala bump in the polls since Joe Biden dropped out. I think she's going to get a Tim Walz bump in a way that that JD Vance was unable to give Donald Trump, and then she's going to get the convention bump as well, all of which traditionally happen. I think by the time we come out of the convention, she is going to be clearly in the lead. And here's the thing: the same thing is going to happen in 2020 that in 2024 that happened in 2020. What happened in 2026 or 2016 is that people saw the polls. They said, I don't know if I want to vote for Hillary. There's so much baggage there. She's going to win anyways. And then she didn't. And enough people had that attitude that she did not win. 2020, there was not that attitude. There was a, no, I might not like Joe Biden, or as I would say, I can't believe I would work so hard to get a president elected that I barely want to be president. People had the attitude, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure Joe Biden gets elected, and he won with more votes than any presidential candidate had ever gotten before.
Let's be careful on that stat, though, because the second most votes ever gotten by anybody before was Donald Trump in the same election.
Sure. Yes. Absolutely. But Joe Biden did get the most votes any presidential candidate has ever gotten, which is significantly more than Donald Trump got, which was the second most. I think that attitude remains of like, no. I'm going to the polls no matter what. I'm going to vote no matter what.
But that wasn't the case 2 weeks ago. Joe Biden, had he stayed in the race, people would not. Okay, fair enough. I think people would not have turned out and supported him no matter what. I think there was enough.
Oh, the angst was deep.
That's why he was down in the Trump people were having meetings saying, we're going to get 380 electoral college votes. We're going to win all the states we won last time, and Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona. Like, we are making a run for it.
Yes.
And they very well may have. So this.
And listen, Hillary Clinton in 2016, in the last 2 weeks of the election, ignored Wisconsin, ignored Michigan, ignored Pennsylvania, did not go to those states. Kamala Harris is not making that mistake. She's in Pennsylvania today. She's going to be in Michigan, I think, tomorrow.
Wisconsin tomorrow.
She's already been in Wisconsin. She's been to Georgia. She's been to North Carolina. She is campaigning in all of the key places.
Well, Hillary was in those places.
Lesson learned from 2016.
Hillary was in those places in the spring and summer, and then they pivoted, and I promise not to bring up Robbie Mook since the cease and desist order, but then Robbie Mook, that's a joke, but then Robbie Mook decided to go for Texas and Florida.
Kamala's not going to do that.
Okay.
They're not going to waste time and energy in those places.
And it's not always up to the campaign. It's a vibe of the American people. Now, look, Barack Obama.
You want to talk vibe? This is, that's another way I've seen this election being described already, is that this is a vibe election, and the Tim Walz pick is a vibe pick. It's the TikTok people. It's the Taylor Swift people. This is a guy that would take his daughter to a Taylor Swift concert. The vibe is there with this ticket.
People who go to Taylor Swift concerts aren't old enough to vote. And the ones who do don't need the finest entertainer and musician that humankind has ever known to tell them to. They're already there. All I'm getting at is youth don't win elections.
Oh, totally.
Never have.
I'm with you.
Never will. Campaign choices and ad spending only influences the thing that wins election. The thing that wins elections are people voting.
Yes.
Everything else literally gets people to do the thing. The thing is the thing. There is no second thing. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. It doesn't matter the vibe. It doesn't matter how hard you scribble it in or how much you push the tab out or how much you circle the deal or use your computer thing to punch the screen. How much enthusiasm you have makes
touch with the stylus.
Touch with the stylus. None of it makes any difference. The one thing that wins elections is people voting.
Yes.
For one candidate in higher numbers than another. That is it. And all the rest of this, we just have to keep reminding ourselves.
Yeah. Got to go vote.
Is not the point. It's all to get to the point.
Yes. Vote early, vote often.
Just not in the same election unless it's this one.
Yeah. I heard a theory today from a conservative Republican friend of mine that I wanted to run by you. He made the point to me, and he's a Trump supporter. He made the point to me today that as we were talking about all of this, he said, Donald Trump has not shifted his message at all. He had the same message in 2016 as he had in 2020, as he had in 2024. Make America great again. And his like that is a theme, and then his overall list of grievances and positions has not shifted, has not changed.
Right. And
my conservative Republican friend was like, man, when is he going to say something new, say something exciting, say something different? This is a retread of all the same stuff. Fascinating observation from someone who's going to vote for Donald Trump, who's feeling fatigued at his message. And if a Trump supporter, and this is totally anecdotal, if a Trump supporter is feeling fatigue at the message of Donald Trump, how, like the breath of fresh air that the Harris Walz ticket brings, I think it plays even greater amongst folks that are just like, this again? No, I want something new.
Well, man, that is a great recognition, and a lot of people think that is his greatest feature, right? He's staying on message. But this is an interesting argument. He's like a band that put out a great album and then just keeps playing that album, and then a couple of cover hits, and then does cover versions of his own album. Yeah, that's Trump out there just beating the same drum. And the grievances have stayed the same. I mean, I literally heard it today from Casey, my Trump supporting friend that we talk to all the time, and my neighbor Frank down the street, who's a Trumper, earlier this week. Said something about, old Joe's had dementia for all these years. He can't be president. I said, well, you're not going to have to worry about that come January. But the most important thing is to keep the felon from being the chief law enforcement officer of the country. And he said, my neighbor down the street, and Casey said the same thing. Well, Joe Biden's the real criminal. Like, they're just stuck on this, right? Like, I said, well, actually, I think, just not to be technical, the real criminal is the one convicted of felonies.
Yeah.
When you live in a world where the real criminal is the hero and the person not charged with the crime is the real criminal, I don't know what postmodern world you're living in, but enjoy it. My larger point being, these people are still just locked into Joe Biden and still griping about somehow the democratic process didn't pick him. And at the same time, reminding us we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative republic at which delegates are the representatives, and we don't use and we're not a democracy. I love them to death, all of them. They're adorbs, but to your point, they're all fixated on Donald Trump's same old story coming down the escalator, all about the border, all about the crime. The statistics don't back it up, but it doesn't matter. They're just fixated, and they're not going to get off it. But here's the point. 74 million people in 2020, just under 4 years ago, said, give us a refill on Donald Trump and Mike Pence. 74 million. Now, are 84 million people going to vote for Kamala Harris the way they voted for Joe Biden? I don't know. Are we going to have 160 million people voting in this election? This could come down to things like turnout, things like organization. That's what it very well could come down to. I'm not trying to be, a cold bucket of water on Walz, but as the title of this little stream is called, I don't know that Kamala Harris is going to waltz right into the White House because of this pick. I think there's still, and she's saying it. I know I'm not saying anything new. She's not saying she's going to. I know that.
Yep.
It's not her I'm worried about. Look, if Kamala Harris can be confident of anything, she's going to get Kamala Harris's vote. She's got it. She might even vote early. She's going to get it. There's, 8,999,000 something one more votes she's got to get. So it's August 6th. You told me on the bus when we were traveling through Pennsylvania into Ohio that at this point in the election, Mitt Romney was well ahead in all these same swing states.
Yes, he was. A lot can happen.
Work to do. The only work that matters is you sending money to vote common good so we can do our work. That is it. Look, big doors are opened by small hinges. We are a small hinge. Let us open this door.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is if you're excited about Tim Walz being the vice presidential pick, or you're worried that Tim Walz was the wrong vice presidential pick, either way, donate to Vote Common Good because we will help get Kamala Harris elected president.
That's right. Don't give the money to the campaign. They have enough right now, more than they can spend. But our little bus needs to keep humming for the...
That's right. Go over to votecommongood.com and smash that donate button.
Actually, don't care how hard you hit it. Doesn't matter. Just put a comma and zeros after the comma. You know what we care about around Vote Common Good? Kamala Harris and commas in your donation amount. We should really start a Kamala donation thing.
Yeah. Better than an apostrophe law.
Can you put a comma? Can you put a comma in your donation so we can put a Kamala in the White House? Can you do it?
Put a comma in your donation so we can put a Kamala in the White House.
That's so good. That is so good. Hey, we need to hear from you in the chat if you think that's good. And if you do, go to votecommongood.com right now and put a comma in there.
So hilarious.
Okay, that's funny. All right. What are the news we have to talk about? J.D. Vance did not pleasure himself on a couch. Let me just... J.D. Vance did not pleasure himself in couch cushions. I am no J.D. Vance apologist, but the person who made up that rumor has come out and said, yeah, I made that up. That's not in the book. And I was told it was in the book, and I believed the people who told me it was in the book. So I thought it was in the book.
Might have been me believing people saying it was in the book.
It wasn't in the book. It was a person on Twitter making a meme.
But it's the same thing with Sarah Palin saying,
I'm going to waltz around that. I'm going to waltz around that decimal point.
Nice.
Yeah, Vince, that's great. You get a waltz. You can waltz right around it.
It's the same thing with the Sarah Palin being tagged with, I can see Russia from my house. She never said that, but it was so it's just that thing that sticks. And it, it was believable. And the crazy thing about J.D. Vance is this sticks because it's believable. It's crazy. Doug,
Okay, this is a great line. Irma says, you know what's great? Kamala doesn't have to sell shoes, steaks, shot glasses, flypaper, or fleece orphans, etc. to raise money.
That's amazing.
She doesn't have to even
fantastic.
say, send money to my legal defense fund. Do you know how much money I've sent to Kamala Harris's legal defense fund? 0. I don't even know that there is a Harris legal defense fund for Kamala Harris. That's a great one, Irma. Thank you for that. What were you saying, Rob?
Have you heard the story about RFK Jr.?
With the bear.
If folks haven't heard the story,
if you care about animals, just know sensitive areas are going to be touched in this.
I just brought up an article. I'm going to read you a little bit from it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s independent White House bid was buoyed by Democratic Party chaos and dissatisfaction with 2 familiar candidates, but bizarre headlines, a new opponent, and limited cash have left him struggling. The 70-year-old's recent confession about dumping a dead bear in Central Park is just the latest twist to a campaign that is already sagging the polls. Mr. Kennedy seemed determined to test the proposition that there's no such thing as bad publicity. In a move to get ahead of a lengthy profile published on Monday in the New Yorker magazine, he released a video where he discusses an accident involving a bear cub a decade ago and the unlikely series of events that followed. In the video, Mr. Kennedy is speaking to actress and comedian Roseanne Barr, who I say parenthetically I thought she was a Trumper, over a half-eaten meal of takeaway beef ribs. He describes how he watched a nearby car hit and kill a bear cub while on a day trip hunting with a falcon. He said he initially...
that should have been the full stop to the story.
He said...
on a day trip while hunting with a falcon.
He said he initially wanted to take the dead animal home to skin it. After a schedule change, he decided to discard the carcass in New York City's Central Park along with an old bicycle in an effort to make it look like a cycling accident. When someone discovered the bear and the bicycle the next day, it became a headline story in New York City tabloids, television news programs. Needless to say, the entire episode, which sounds like a youthful practical joke gone wrong, but took place when the candidate was 60 years old.
Yes.
Is odd.
Yes.
The Falcon
and the story got picked up in the New York press.
Yes.
With a dead bear cub, and people like, a cyclist hit this. So he lied to the press and then didn't come out about it. And then it was going to be in the New Yorker. He tried to get out in front of it by shooting a TikTok video with Roseanne Barr. Can we just be done with RFK Jr. finally?
Please.
He's eating dogs. He's running for president. And he hauled a dead bear around and then dumped it in the park to make it look, 2 things, to make it look like it was struck by a cyclist, which I don't know why he needed to. He could have just called animal control, but then made some park ranger have to deal with a rotting dead carcass in the park, and then people had to come figure it out, and then people had to waste their time. Who needs Robert Kennedy Jr. and his vaccination conspiracy, dog-eating, dead bear-dragging candidacy?
Yeah. I saw someone on Twitter today.
I'm real ornery today.
I saw someone, and he also took a picture, and it's apparently available publicly, a picture of him with his hand in the dead bear's mouth while it was in the back of his car. So very weird. I did see someone tweet a tweet from 2014, 10 years ago, in which they were asking the question about who would dump a bear carcass in Central Park. And now, 10 years later, their question has been answered. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So bizarre.
Yeah, so bizarre. There are so many things you could do.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are weird. RFK Jr. Bizarre.
This guy. Can we just finally, the obsession in this country that we give to these third-party people, and I get it. I know why, because we're all afraid and vulnerable, and that a 2 or 3, 4% swing in elections means that not just a person is elected president, but an entire apparatus kicks in at the federal level that does the damage that the Trump administration did. It really, really matters. And feeling these people. But this Robert Kennedy Jr. is not a serious person.
Yeah.
This person just has no business. He has done nothing. They're trying to shut me down. He has done nothing in his life to indicate that he should spend the remainder of his life in public service as the executive of the executive branch of the federal government. By the way, Mr. Kennedy, the presidency is not a family dynasty. It doesn't matter what your relatives did. This is not how we have to get to all this after we get done with this election and everything, because Biden shifted right back into that thing that Trump was in and that the Kennedys are in, that somehow the presidency, once someone is in it, they treat it as if it's their family business. Yeah. Like, let me get my family together and ask them if they think I should run. That's not just like that should not be the last determination. That should be the first. And if they don't want you to, you quit. But you shouldn't be like, you know what, the country doesn't want me to run again. But my family does. So first things first, what does my family want? Ridiculous. We just have to call that out no matter the political party. And the Kennedy thing is just laden with some kind of patriarchal, familial business model of the United States presidency.
You know who is a serious candidate?
Who?
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Kamala Harris. She was, I saw a little thing on Ari Melber's show. Do you know who that is, Ari Melber? He's got a show on. He's got a show on MSNBC, and he's got an X account. You can look him up, and he has a great little show that comes on at 5 p.m. Central Time. And he played a clip from her interview with her in 2019, and he played it last night. And he was asking her, like, if you were the presidential candidate, who would your celebrity vice president be, or some question like this. And she said, she got all kind of, she says, Muhammad Ali. Right. I don't know why she said Muhammad Ali. But then she goes, how you like that? Like with this little smirk, just that little wink and click and smile. Yep. I was like, doggone, why have they been hiding her for all these years?
Seriously.
And
they let us have the impression that she was a lightweight, that she was incompetent. And the reality is, the reality is so very different.
Yes. Yeah. I now have 3 Kamala 2024 shirts.
Wow.
2 tees and a Fetterman hoodie. So, I'm all in. I've got a clear calendar tomorrow. Cleared my calendar from any in-person requirements. You know why? I'm driving to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and I'm going to be in the rally group for Governor Tim Walz and the future president of these here United States, Kamala Harris. Going to be in Eau Claire. So, on a side note, just for us to do a little business while people have to listen in on us, I'd love to reach out to Rebecca's campaign there and say hello and see if we can do a little something while I'm over there. But anyway, if anybody from Minnesota, Shelley can't go. She's going to the Arboretum. So if anybody wants to go with me, drive with me from Minneapolis to Eau Claire to the Harris campaign. We're not bringing the bus because the bus isn't getting a little work done right now. We have a couple weeks off, and the bus is getting a little tune-up, a little thing happening, so it's unavailable to us. So we're going to go stealth in a black SUV. But if somebody wants to go, and I'll probably get on a bike. I'll probably bring my bike, park a ways away, ride my bike up, try to get in, like that. So if anybody wants to go, let me know, and we'll go see the next president. The time of the event in Eau Claire tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Oh. Do you want to take a bet that I'm not going to be out of there before 5:30? Do you want to take a bet that this thing is going to run from 8 in the morning when you have to start lining up to get in, and she's going to get on at 3:45? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You think that's kind of how this is going to go? So the other thing we could do, Rob, now I don't want to, but we could go live tonight while they cover the campaign rally where they introduced Tim Walz. So I guess we'll just commend to people the Apostle Paul and then commend to them.
Yes.
Yeah. And that joke, friends, comes straight out of the Christian nationalism training sessions that we do, the Thread of Christian Nationalism Training, which you can see on our YouTube channel. If you don't watch this currently on YouTube, wish you would. Well, over 3 weeks ago, when it was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and now it's Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I mean, you just couldn't make this up. It would be too dreamy. So
amazing.
God bless us. Do a live. I want to see how crowded. Okay, so Peggy, I was going to ask that question. Thanks for that reminder. Friends, if I were to do some live streaming from there here on the YouTube channel and maybe on Facebook, would that be of interest to you? What's going on? Maybe some interviews with some people. Maybe I put a little press thing in my hat and I look like a press. I might actually get a lanyard that says press on it. And because are we not
podcast network?
Are we not press? How are we not? So yes, Peggy, I will do what I can as a man of common good conscience to get some shots and some videos and the rest. If you don't yet follow Vote Common Good on all the channels for pictures and videos and updates, it will all go there, as well as the place where you watch this. Okay, so Nita would watch, Peggy would watch, Yabbits would watch. That could be double some of our viewerships. So thank you.
It's totally enough to do it.
Totally enough. All right, what else you got? Any questions from the audience here? We should do that. You know what a lot of live streams do? They don't just pop people's comments up on the screen. They ask them to give them questions, and then they respond to the questions. So questions or comments you want us to respond to? Here's a very YouTube thing, because I watch so many YouTube channels. Put a question mark before your question, and then I'll know it's a question.
Ooh.
Do you know that? Do you know that trick? If you don't follow a lot of YouTube channel live streams, that's what people say. Bonnie, thank you for watching. And if you know anybody in the Eau Claire area that wants to buy me lunch, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna bring a bagged lunch, Rob, because we've been to enough of these political rallies in our lives to know how long these things take. Hey, question for you, Rob, out of the chat. Where is the Bernie wing on Walz? Is it going to get Bernie to endorse Kamala Harris finally? Is this something that'll get him over the hump?
I saw a video this morning of Representative Jamal Bowman, a member of the squad, for a few more months. And he was in his very Jamal-esque way, expressing his profound excitement at this pick.
Wow. Like willing to pull the fire alarm over this one?
Oh yeah. Pull the fire alarm. We're celebrating. AOC.
Too soon on that?
AOC tweeted a little joke about the array of the Democratic Party, with both her and Joe Manchin expressing their profound support for Tim Walz.
Wow.
This is which was funny, because there's always that talk about how the Democrats are in disarray, and she was like, Democrats are in array. So it's the progressive wing is excited.
Wasn't my question, but I appreciate that report. Where are we at?
Hey, Alex has a question for you. What's your bet?
Where are we on the old guy?
I don't know. Are we
gonna get him? Are we gonna get him?
I haven't. Listen. Are
we gonna get Bernie Sanders?
Ever since Bernie's
Democratic presidential candidate.
Ever since Bernie Sanders' son yelled at me, I haven't checked in much. On the family.
Feelings are hurt.
Alex wants to know what you're bringing for your bag lunch. What's your bag lunch of choice, Doug?
Well, I will
peanut butter and jelly.
I will bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'll probably have
with or without chips. This is a question we need to ask people.
Yeah, well, the chips will be in a bag, and then I will put the chips between the two pieces of bread with the peanut butter and jelly, and eat it as a crunch force inside the bread. Yeah, and if you haven't yet tried that,
crunchy or creamy peanut butter.
Well, I prefer the creamy, but we have a disproportionate amount of crunchy in our house, so I will use it. We'll use the natural stuff that you have to stir up, and we're at that point in it where it's dry.
Yeah.
It just tears the bread apart.
Yeah. Have you tried this? Vanessa introduced me to this a few weeks ago. A saltine cracker.
Okay.
With a layer of peanut butter.
Okay.
And a pickle.
Oh. No, did she discover that when she was great with child?
I don't know.
Seems like a perfect pregnancy bite.
Really, really good.
What kind of pickle are we talking here? Are we talking a dill? Are we talking
sweet?
Oh,
I don't eat sweet pickles. Ugh. Yeah.
Bread
a hamburger.
And butter? Will you go bread and butter
No.
pickle?
No. Dill only.
Dill
the hamburger
only.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The hamburger dills, that are already sliced, just lay it on top and
Yeah, with the ridges in it, where they cut it with the little ridges. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we'd love to know in the chat too, where people enjoy as far as the pickles go. I'm bread and butter hungry. Sweet pickle guy. Hey, how long have you and Vanessa been together?
Friday is our 28th wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary. Did you know each other before that, or was this an arranged marriage by your fundamentalist Christian families? So 30 years.
Keith Green did not arrange marriage. Yeah, we've been together 30 years.
30 years. When did she tell you about the saltine and peanut butter and pickle?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. She's been holding out on me. She's been holding out on me.
That's my point.
Yeah. I know.
You haven't
trying to preserve, as she would say, trying to preserve the mystery.
And you haven't. She's got like a list of things that'll come out in the third and fourth decade.
Yeah,
and you haven't seen her enjoy a saltine with peanut butter and a pickle on it.
No.
She's been
had heard rumors of it at times, but then she was like making it the other night, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually really good, really, really good."
Okay, tuna and pickles for Peggy. Just be careful on the tuna. There's no safe amount of fish to consume in the world. It's all been polluted by mercury. So be as careful as you possibly can. Irma's going to have pickle ball, not pickles.
There's times, Doug, where I dislike sweet and the bread and butter pickles so much that there's times where I will say to Vanessa, like, is this the kind of pickle I like? Just because she's got to test it. Because if I accidentally put a sweet pickle in my mouth,
really
not good. Yeah. Oh, not good.
What about the ones that come standard on a cheeseburger at McDonald's? That one is that a dill pickle? What is that thing that they're doing?
That's good.
That's
dill pickle. Hey, Kirk's question. He'd like us to comment on the open border, biggest issue facing the country. Kirk, welcome to Vote Common Good. We don't really talk about the border ever at all.
Kirk, he's being silly and sassy to you. We spend a lot of time on the border. In fact, we have a whole playlist. We're making a documentary about our experience on the border. Rode bicycles from San Diego, California to Brownsville, Texas, along the U.S.-Mexico border. I've done interviews with Border Patrol, with people living in the towns, with government workers, regular folks, and people running asylum camps and people that have themselves in refugee places. We run entire training sessions on how people can be involved in issues around the border.
We've taken candidates for Congress to the border and across the border into Mexico.
I'd love to take you, Kirk. Yeah. So next time we're going, we'd love to have you go along with us. So you can find all that in our playlists here on the YouTube channel. I see you're on YouTube, Kirk. So thank you for that. Click on the playlist and you'll see the border and you'll see lots of interviews and conversations. And if you're looking for a way forward in the conversation about immigration, we think we're your best place. So thanks for asking. We appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. And do you want to comment on open border? The open borders? You know who has an open border? You know who has an open border? There's a person who's been to the border, crossed the border. You know who's got an open border?
Who?
Mexico.
What do you mean?
Just walked across.
And they didn't even ask you who you were? You just walked in. And then what'd you do?
Came back.
Walked back out. Walked in.
I mean, a couple days later.
Did a little bit of work. And then walked out.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah. You know who doesn't have an open border?
United States
of America. Not in Canada. Not on the coast. Not with Mexico. But Kirk, of course, if you've been to the border, you already know that. Excuse us for over-explaining something you obviously know.
Yeah. And
Okay,
Aaron
honest
wants,
question here: who in the entire U.S. does not want America to be a great country? That's a great question.
I mean, I'm sure there's
Who
some
doesn't?
people, right?
Well, there was that
Sure,
brief
there's some
period of time where the terrorists in the country wanted to blow things up. You know, the right-wing Republican-leaning people like Timothy McVeigh. Yeah, those people. And the other terrorists as well. So there are occasionally sometimes when
Yep.
former military people don't want this to be a great country. Or maybe when
Yeah.
people assassinate presidents, when Republicans shoot and kill people, that kind of thing. Maybe they don't want. But I get your point. I think we all want to make America great for all, Aaron. Great phrase.
Yep.
And
Yabbits wants to
that's a
know.
great last name.
Yabbits wants to know when we're going to have a understanding the border seminar. Yabbits, we need about 70 grand to finish the documentary. Even better than a seminar is a documentary. So, you know,
$70,000 away from you being the producer of
executive
a great
producer
documentary.
Yeah, it could be
7 is the number of fulfillment and a 0 and then a comma. Hey, but we do have that seminar. We've done common good immigration trainings. We have seminars. There are a dozen or so versions of that seminar on the YouTube channel. So when you go to the playlist, you can see the common good immigration section. We have whole seminars in there. We very similarly designed to the Christian nationalism one. But by the way, newly recognized as America's most sophisticated and thorough Christian nationalism training. We just won the Goody Award. I don't know if you all know that, but we won the Goody Award for
Who said that? Who said that?
We did.
Did somebody say that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I said it on the internet though. And it's true. So now you can tag this in the Wikipedia article about Vote Common Good and about our training. So if somebody wants to go on Wikipedia and update it, this would be the link. The nation's most thorough and trusted Christian nationalism training, as featured on Fox News.
People are saying.
As featured on Fox News. And in the same playlist, you'll find the ones for common good immigration seminars. Fantastic. You're meeting people who work on the border. You're listening to recordings of people that are trapped on the both sides.
Learning all sorts of really interesting things. One of my favorite parts about that seminar is the quiz questions that ask people, you know, to the multiple choice. Like, what do you actually know about how all this works? And most people don't know how it actually works.
They don't know. But you know what we do owe the world to be true? We should do one right here on YouTube and Facebook, just like we do live presentations. We should just do them here so they show up and people, the internet audience can be the people asking the questions. So Yabbits, we're on it. We will do it. But if you can't wait, if you've got, you know, an hour and a half to spend right now, well, you should probably go to the theater and watch the Wolverine movie. But if you have 3 hours, do that and then come back and watch the thing we've got.
Irma's got a question. Irma's question is, where in the world is Mike Pence?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it true that Mike Pence is going to be touring with the Vote Common Good group and saying you don't have to be like these people, but at least be a Republican like me? Is that true? Or are these just rumors? Rob, what do you know?
Saying that?
What do you know? Is that true?
Are people saying that Mike Pence is going to be on the bus?
Yeah, Mike Pence is on. I've heard people ask if that's true. And when the congressman was on talking about how Kamala Harris isn't actually black, as a black man saying it, his answer to George Stephanopoulos was, "Look, it's people on the internet are talking about it. That's what makes it news."
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanopoulos is like, no, that's not what makes it news. You're just saying it. It doesn't make it news.
Yeah. Peggy wants to know what's the name of the new song Dan is singing.
Oh,
is Dan singing a new song?
Yeah,
so
Dan singing a new
people
song
who might not
from the
know,
Lord.
Producer Dan, who's on vacation right now, up in the Wi-Fi-less hinter regions of the swing state of Michigan. Dan Dietrich has a great song from 2020 entitled "Hymn for the 81%." You should check it out on YouTube. It's got way more views than this video does. You should check it out.
It's been up longer.
Is Dan singing a new song?
Yeah, Dan sings a couple of new little numbers in our. What
Peggy is
referencing is that if you follow our YouTube channel, which some of you are doing right now, and you look at previous videos that are there, you're going to see some of our common good rallies, when we do rallies with candidates. And in those rallies, we sing songs. Usually it's just the performers that are singing, but every once in a while you might pick up a Doug or Robb voice in the background singing. And this last batch that went up has 2 additional people that are traveling with us as musicians that both have their own songs that they're sharing. So you may have been confused, Peggy, and we wouldn't blame you for this, if the other 2 people named Joel and Clint you thought was Dan, because they're kind of Dan clones in their own way. But yeah, we do have one called All Will Be Free that Dan starts with at the beginning, and we also do Something's Happening Here, which is not the name of the song, and then Hymn for the 81%. So yeah, a whole set of songs. We're putting together some music,
and Clay's song is called Does God, and Joel's song is called Faith of Our Father, Faith of My Fathers.
Yes. Yeah. Great song, Faith of My Fathers. Not yet recorded. The only recordings that exist are in the Vote Common Good channel. Hey, friends, let me ask you this one. Tell us in the chat. If we produced cassette tapes with the music on it, would you have interest in the cassettes? Now, it's a dead serious question. I'll just say before you answer too closely, and this video brought to you by this cassette player in my hand right now. Hang on, I'm trying to get it open. There we go. This is a cassette player. There's a stack of cassettes. Oh, I think they're upstairs. This is my cassette player. You might be saying to yourself, Doug, how have you kept that cassette player for all this time? And I'll say to you, oh, I haven't. It just arrived the other day from a special website that you can all go to. It's public. It's called Amazon.com. And you can go there. And this thing not only plays a cassette with a headphone jack, it's also a Bluetooth player. You can play it to your Bluetooth speakers. Cassettes. I'm telling you, they're back.
Doug,
they are the vinyl of the hipster world.
Doug, do you know who undoubtedly has a box of cassette tapes in their attic?
Donald Trump.
Tim Walz.
Tim
Walz.
Tim
Not Donald
Walz.
Trump. Tim Walz does. He's got a box of cassettes of REM and maybe a little Queen. He does.
Well, I'm telling you, friends, look, you don't need to be on the front edge of anything. No, it doesn't really matter, right? What does it get you? Other than, in short order, you're going to be behind when progress, passes you by. But the movement toward cassettes, especially for independent bands,
my heart,
is all the rise. Now, it's from a very small number, but more than a 600% increase in the purchase of musical cassette tapes in the last year and a half. Now, that's down from a teeny number, but it's still a lot. But here's why.
600% increase could be 1 to 6.
So 1 to 6. It is something like that. So don't overplay it. But cassette players are $29 on Amazon. Cassettes, bands put them out. Here's what people are doing. This is what I think we're going to do with Vote Common Good. You can take a recording, and you're not as concerned about the fidelity level because you're going to put it on a cassette tape. And you can start to create and record. I was going to say, I nearly said burn, which makes me sound like I'm talking about CD. You can record that, a series of music, and then dupe a bunch of tapes very fast, and then give those to people at things or send them out. It's super cheap. And when you finally get the one you like, you finally get your band together, the thing you like, you can send it off to a duplicating place, and for about $1.25, you get it in a case, and it's recorded, and there's everything you need. And then you just send those out to people. It's genius. And also for the people that still have those cars around where there's a cassette player in them, and you've been plugging in the cassette thing so you can plug that little adapter into your iPhone or whatever, skip the iPhone altogether. And you just pop a cassette tape in. It's just your childhood all over again. So,
all right. Since
if we produced Vote Common Good music on cassette tapes, would you be interested? Huh?
No.
Huh?
No.
Well, you should be. You can go to Amazon right now and buy one of these. I bet there's going to be a time where you go to votecommon.good.com/cassette and you can buy a package deal of a player and the Vote Common Good music on a cassette tape. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, but this is right. This is getting weird.
And the thing about this cassette player, you can literally play the music right out of it. Look at that, Rob. There's speakers in it. You don't even need something else. And you can then record your own stuff right on top of it.
Amazing. Can I read you? Can I read you what Donald Trump posted on Truth Social at 12:59 p.m.?
Is he watching this? What else can you do that with? Record onto it and play it through Bluetooth, through headphones, or out of the speakers inside the same player.
Probably a video cassette as well.
Hey, don't be ridiculous. Those have gone out of fashion. Nobody's ever going to watch those.
Here we go. You ready? What are the chances that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the U.S., whose presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him by Kamala, Barack Hussein Obama, crazy Nancy Pelosi, shifty Adam Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, and others on the lunatic left, crashes the Democrat National Convention and tries to take back the nomination, beginning with challenging me to another debate. He feels he has made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he most hates, and he wants it back now.
I think Donald's not doing well. I don't know that any of this is true, but I heard from some people who went to Mar-a-Lago and have spent a little bit of time with him. You know what he was talking about? Cassette tapes.
I thought you were saying pickles and peanut butter. All right.
Oh my gosh, we missed it. You know what he was talking about?
I'm hungry.
Cassette tapes and pickles and peanut butter. I mean, this guy is off the hook. Well, Bonnie, thank you for your care and consideration of a cassette player. Please find one. The rest of these neophytes we will leave behind while they listen to their streaming services, paying no money to the artists who are just begging for a little attention and love. Yeah, Peggy, if Donald Trump was not an avid teetotaler, I'd be the same way. I don't think it's the drinking that gets him. I think it's the pills. But I think that the doctor who was the White House doctor and then was demoted in the military for running a pill farm, I'm just saying I think it could be the medications, the wrong mix of medication. I'll be available at the website and rallies. Hi, Peggy. I don't know what that means, but that thank you. I'm actually ornery today, Alex, so I appreciate that. All right. Anybody else we should say hello to? Do we miss anybody? Edward, good to see you on here. Edward, we owe you a Christian nationalism training event, and we're working hard on getting that scheduled for September. So expect to hear from me soon.
Garcia.
Do we miss somebody?
Aaron.
Okay.
Nita.
Yeah. Nice little group. To the new people around, Nita and Bonnie and Aaron. Nice to have you all here in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks. And if you do it over on YouTube, it just makes that algorithm better. Sometimes in life, you just have to choose who you're going to serve. Bob Dylan reminded us of that. Jesus reminds us of that. The Buddha reminds us of that. And so do the algorithms. Are we going to serve the algorithm on Facebook, or are we going to serve the algorithm owned by Google on YouTube? We're going to serve the algorithm with the big G.
The monopoly.
Yeah. And the only reason is because if I say to you on Facebook, go look up our playlist, there isn't one. But if I say, go look at the playlist on Christian nationalism or on immigration or on cassette tapes, you can find that over on the YouTube channel for this. So we will see you down the road, and we'll be back in a week. And I will, will I be live, or will I just record something and post it? I don't know. It depends on what the internet's like when we're out there in the crowds. But live from Eau Claire tomorrow at some point. And if you want to go, of course, Doug at votecommongood.com is my email, and you can send me an email. Tell me you want to go, because that wouldn't be creepy. All right. You done, Rob?
I'm done. I'm hungry. Gotta go listen to the Eagles.
Huh?
On cassette. You know Tim Walz has an Eagles cassette in his attic.
I thought you were saying because I'm running. I thought you were saying because I'm running on empty, and I didn't see that coming from you. An Eagles reference like that on cassette.
You know Tim Walz has a box of Eagles cassettes. Jackson Brown up in his.
I literally have those. You know. Hey, by the way, we're gonna bring this up. We're not done yet.
Oh my heart.
Who's older, Tim Walz or Kamala Harris?
Tim Walz.
Way older.
Tim Walz. No, he's only
by
a few
6
months.
months. 6 months older.
Who's older, Tim Walz or Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt. Who looks older, Tim Walz or Kamala Harris?
Tim Walz.
Somehow she's the hip one, and he's the old dad guy.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't have cassettes?
Both of them
Kamala
boomers,
Harris.
born in 1964.
Kamala Harris. Yeah, there's a big debate we're having on the bus, among other things that don't matter. On the generational distinctions, where does 1964 lie? Is that forced into the baby boomer world, or is it wedged into the Gen X world where Rob and I find ourselves?
They're both boomers, born in 64. We're never going to get a Gen X president.
So you're going with 64. You're now back to 64 as a boomer.
Yeah, 64 is a boomer.
Okay. I'm just saying, not all the people, just like not all the people who do astrology.
It's 65 to 85, right? Gen X is 65 to 85.
That do horoscopes can seem to agree on astrology. Not all the people with even less scientific backing who do generationalism can seem to agree on, is it 1960, 1962, 1964, 1965? There's some disagreement. Yeah. When we ran an event
Edward, I hate to break it to you. You're a boomer. Okay, boomer.
Okay,
you're a boomer.
I don't say so. 20 years is after the end of World War II. When we did an event called the National Reevaluation Forum way back in 1998, and we had a rule about who could come, and it was designed for Gen X, we set it at 1962. Do you know why? We wanted Brian McLaren to be able to come.
I was going to say, so Brian McLaren could come?
So I'm just saying, people have been fussing with the dates.
Yeah.
Is now 64 is nearly 20 years of the World War II, is now 58 or so, 65 or so. I don't know what that conversation is, but when did your voice stop cracking? Well, the other morning when I woke up on the bus and I was back to being Peter Brady, it took about 3 hours before it finally came back into shape. Yeah, Kamala Harris is two months shy of Gen X. I did bring up when they were conceived part of the question, so I think
which we don't want to think about.
I think she's on the depending on where you are, the political issues. She's either Gen X or baby boomer. And if you meet a hardcore pro-lifer and they call her baby boomers, just say, I cannot believe.
They call her Gen X.
I can't. No,
she was conceived as a boomer.
Oh, that's right. She'd be conceived of a boomer.
And born as a boomer.
Is that how conception works?
Yeah.
It comes before. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we're at 1 hour and 24 minutes, Rob. Let's make this quick. We got to go.
I have a child born on September 24th.
Okay. Of 64?
No. Just saying, Christmas Eve. 9 months previous to Christmas Eve.
What's 9 months previous to Christmas Eve?
No. September 24th, 9 months previous to that. Christmas Eve.
I see. So you think babies sit in there for just 9 solid months?
Oh yeah. It's exactly 9 months, and then they come out. This is fascinating. Absolutely.
Because how people deliver babies between 36 and 41 months or weeks. Is that right?
We're getting technical. Yeah.
I think so. And,
normally,
and
not exclusively.
And normally. There's 4 months, 4 weeks in a month, and 9 months is 9 times 4, which is 36. So how are we pushing 40 weeks if it's 9 months? Because it's never been 9 months.
Some of the months have 31 days.
It's never been 9 months. Yeah. We say it. We all say it. Pregnancies are 9 months.
Just things.
They're not.
Things we believe that are not
typical
true.
Full-term pregnancy is 40 weeks.
Things we believe that are not true.
If you had 4 weeks in a month, you'd be at 10.
I'm gonna tie this all. I'm gonna tie this all up, Doug. Watch this. Things we believe that are not true. That Sarah Palin said that she could see Russia from her house. That people are pregnant for 9 months. And that J.D. Vance did you know what with a couch.
Didn't pleasure himself with a couch. We're at an hour 26. Do we just keep it going to a full hour and a half?
I'm done. I gotta go eat something. I'm hungry.
Okay, one more. This is like when Trump runs out of teleprompter.
Hey, listen, can I tell you about my good friend
well played.
Hannibal
Yeah,
Lecter?
That's well played. Yeah.
That's Trump, when he goes off teleprompter, he starts
that's right.
talking about Hannibal Lecter
and electric vehicles. Because the electric vehicles, that's what the people are bothered about, is that someone who's going to offer you an electrical vehicle is going to make you drive an electric boat, and then it's going to electrocute you.
Did you see yesterday where he said that he's now in favor of electric vehicles?
I did hear him say for a small sliver, and he couldn't pronounce the word sliver, and then it started saying other things because he started speaking over himself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got to be on another Zoom call. See you in a minute. Bye.
All right.